Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Imagination Megapark. In the last episode I worked on the Marshmallow Mountain area, and over here I added this horse ride which travels through this candy farm. And on this side here I created this disco ride. Now I think there are two really fun rides, and I think that's also all the space we have for rides in this area. Now today I want to focus on the frozen fields area, and today I want to fill up these last two remaining areas here. So over here we can fit another coaster with a coaster type that's not often built in this game, but which has been added in OpenRCT2 and which I think is really fitting. And over here I want to make a ride that's partly underground, but which will have some nice interaction with the surroundings. Now, before I start any building, I will first name several more handymen after people who commented on the last Imagination Megapark episodes. Right here you can see the new additions to the Handyman squad. Thank you so much for leaving comments on my last Imagination Megapark videos. And if you also want to see yourself on this list of handymen in the park, just leave an interesting or fun comment on this video. Alright, I will start off by building a ride in this area. Okay, here you can see the new ride that I made. I called it Trapped Under the Ice, and basically it's just a maze which runs under this ice sheet. Probably not very good ride for people who feel claustrophobic. I opened up some holes in the roof, and there I just put some of this glass. Yeah, just so you can actually see through it and actually watch the guests go around. Now, this maze looks very complicated, but actually there's only very few choices that the guests can make during this ride. There's only a very few junctions where guests can choose a different route. So most of the guests should not have a big problem finding their way to the exit, which is often an issue with maze rides. Now that I say this, I just noticed that yeah, it looks like guests cannot actually reach the exit here. So I should quickly fix this. Alright, for some reason there were some walls over here, but now they're gone. So now guests can actually find their way to the exit again. That was pretty embarrassing. Alright, this should be a good ride for the guests. Alright, with this area taken care of, I can now focus my attention to this area over here. And the kind of ride that I want to build here is an Alpine Coaster. Now, the Alpine Coaster is a coaster type that was added in OpenRCT2. And I don't often see people use it in the parks, but it has some unique behavior in that guests actually control their own speed. Now I'm going to make quite a long layout, so we will probably see some guests bunching up in some areas over time. Or maybe I can actually make a dueling coaster with actually two different tracks that should stop guests from punching up so much. Yeah, I'll just play around with it and see what kind of layout I'm going to build here. But for sure, I will make a big hill over here for the Alpine Coaster to slide off. Alright, I've now created a hill over here. Now, you could see me build a second track, or at least try to, but I figured there's just not really enough space to make a nice looking dueling ride here. So instead, I just went for a single track here. Now here you can see the lift hill. It just goes upwards in many different steps, kind of like a staircase. And then over here it just slowly spirals downwards. I think it has enough speed that we won't see a lot of bunching up happening here. Now I just made a temporary queue and exit path just so I could test the ride, because this ride normally cannot be tested without guests. Now when building this hill, I tried to make it so that from every angle it doesn't really block many important things from view. So from here it doesn't really block anything. From here it doesn't really block anything from the view either. This coaster is always still visible from this angle. And also from this angle it doesn't really block anything. Anyway, now it's time to continue decorating this hill. I think on this side it might be fun to actually continue this frozen temple theme a little bit. Maybe add some towers, some buildings here on the side. I think that will look pretty cool. And on this side I will probably just continue this kind of landscaping here with this frozen fields foliage. Okay, I did some decoration around the track. You can see the track now has this catwalk using this multi-dimension coaster track. By the way, for the main track I put this stand-up coaster track below it, with some part of the track being made invisible, and that kind of makes it look like there's netting below the track. In previous versions of this ride I usually put the stand-up coaster track like this. I think it looks better without the rails on the edge. Now for the decoration, this part just kept it really simple. Just some of these trees, a few snowballs, a hut, and I buried some of these Japanese snowball trees that have been recolored. Yeah, not really anything spectacular here, scenery-wise, But here on the edge I continued this theme of the frozen temple. So you can see some more of these buildings in this style all along the edge. I think that makes a nice border with this part of the land that's higher up. Now I'm finally here on this side. I decided to go a little bit crazy and I made this sculpture here. So yeah, it looks like it has some paws sticking out, and here's a big face. So maybe you could see this as being a turtle of some sort. Yeah, I'll just leave it to your imagination to decide what this actually is. I thought this was pretty fun to make. Alright, what I haven't done yet, of course, is to actually make a station for this ride. So yeah, I think that's the final thing I'm going to do about this coaster. Alright, and with that, the Alpine Coaster is completed. I gave it a name, it's now called Snow Rush Slide. Now, as for the station style, I basically made it in the same style as the Aurora base over here. Now, I quite like this style. I basically just made two of these buildings, and I just connected them with some, with a corridor in between. All in all, yeah, I think this building looks great now. I also extended the queue a little bit over here. Just made it cover a little bit more area by twisting it back and forth several times. Now, scenery, again, nothing spectacular, just more of the same. So more of these trees, snowballs, these berry trees. And yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with what I created in today's episode. Now, to give a summary of what was built today. First, I created this maze here called Trapped Under the Ice. You can see some of the guests walking through this maze. So yeah, there's the maze below here, and then there's a layer of these other maze tiles above it with some glass in some parts so you can actually see the guests through it. Yeah, I think this is a really cool addition and a great way to fill up this area over here. And after that I created this Alpine Coaster here. First I created this big hill, making sure not to block the view of too many things here. And then I created this coaster on top. I think it's a really nice addition, a great way to fill up this area here. And of course here on the back I created this sculpture here. I did change it a little bit off camera, but all in all I think it's a really cool addition. Alright, I think that's all the rides that I'm going to add to the Frozen Fields area. I think that it became a really nice area. There's still some spots that need some detailing, so that'll be something for a future episode. Maybe it will be fun to quickly go through all the rides that are in this area. Well, first there's this shoestring ride with these bobsleigh vehicles. Then there's this launched bobsleigh coaster. Well, first it goes up this lift hill here. But later on in the track there's actually a launch section over here. And after that there's another twisty section which this coaster travels through. Now over here is the Frozen Temple. It's in the middle of this area. And it has a big corkscrew coaster. It travels all throughout this area through several inversions. There's a pair of loops over here. There's this Batwing inversion. It's a little bit difficult to see from some angles, but I promise you it's there. And after that, finally, several corkscrews before it returns back to the station. Over here, there's this husky ride, which travels around this giant festive tree. I made all these tracks in the snow. I think that looks pretty cool. And yeah, it's just fun watching these huskies travel around, with or without guests. And here's some more buildings and a little snowman ride. Over here we have some ice carts. It's also pretty fun to watch. The ride has some big jumps, like over here. And there's another one later in the track. And probably the most fun part is this obstacle here. So guests can actually ride these dodgems here. And go-karts have collision with dodgems. So yeah, quite often they're in the way for these go-karts when they pass by. Now, and here of course is Aurora. This is the air-powered vertical coaster. I really like its color scheme, colored after the northern lights, of course. And here there's this base for it. And finally there's the two attractions that I added today in the form of this maze and the Alpine Coaster. But yeah, I'm really proud of how this area has come together. It still needs some detailing, but I think it already looks great. Alright, that's going to be all for this episode. If you enjoyed watching me build, please consider giving this video a like, it would really help out my channel. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe. I will finish this video with a ride on the new Alpine Coaster. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.